Hello, hello, lads, ladies, and lovelies. Long time no see. How is everyone doing today? Hope everyone had a great Christmas and a great New Year's. I do apologize for kind of neglecting this book channel. Things have been happening to the point where I didn't have particularly enough time to read, but yes, my New Year's resolution, I really want to use this channel a bit more so that I want to motivate myself to read a bit more. I can't help but feel like that I have said that before, but hopefully this time I would read a bit more. I would like to try and get my review up like at least once a month, so I have had time to read books that I want to read and be able to put stuff up on the channel. So yeah, thank you ever so much for your patience. And I noticed some new subscribers, so hello to the new subscribers. Welcome to the channel, and to all the old subscribers that's been with me for this past year. Welcome back. I am interested to know what books you have read, or what books you didn't like, what books you really enjoy and highly recommend. So yes, do comment to them down below. I'm very interested. Today I have been reading this book for quite a bit. I have said that I was going to read this book. I had watched the animation show based on this book, and also continuing to watch the live action show that's currently on Netflix. But I do very much enjoy this book, and I'm sure people have heard of this book based through the show that they watch. As I said, the live action show is on Netflix. The animation show is on YouTube, but you have to be a member to watch it. I can link that down in the description if you want me to, if you're curious. But yeah, the book that I want to talk about is called Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation by, I apologize if I pronounce it incorrectly. This is a Chinese author, Xiang Tong. Do let me know if I do pronounce that incorrectly. But yeah, this is the book. I'll just show you the artwork. These two are the main characters of the story. So this one here is Wei Wuxian. He is the kind of the main focus of the story. We will talk about him for a bit. And this here is Lan Shan, another main character. For starters, I will read the blurb to you. Hopefully this will be, again, very much interest you. Or as I said, this is the same author of another book that I did review in the past. I reviewed the Scum Villain Self-Saving System. I believe that's what it's called. That is by the same author. I did want to read the rest of that series, but first I was really getting into this. So let me start by reading out the blurb. Resurrection and Revenge. Wei Wuxian was once one of the most outstanding men of his generation, a talented and clever young cultivator who harnessed martial arts, knowledge, and spirituality into powerful abilities. But when the horrors of war led him to seek a new power through demonic cultivation, the world's respect for his skills turned to fear, and his eventual death was celebrated throughout the land. Years later, he awakens in the body of an aggrieved young man who sacrifices his soul so that Wei Wuxian can exact revenge on his behalf. Though granted a second life, Wei Wuxian is not free from his first, nor the mysteries that appear before him now. Yet this time he'll face it all with the righteous and esteemed Lang Wanji, that is the guy in the white robes, at his at his side. Another powerful cultivator whose unwavering dedication and shared memories of their past will help shine a light on the dark truths that surround them. Oh, so I forgot to say apologies if you hear sniffling and coughing. I am still getting over the cold that I've had for the past week. So I do apologize. But yes, that is the blurb. That is the story. I'm going to say this up front. I can understand why this is the most popular book throughout the series of Mo Xiang Tongzhu books that she wrote. I think I prefer this a lot more than Scum Villain's self-saving system, because I feel like the problem I have with, and I feel like I said this as well in the review, the Scum Villain self-saving system can get a bit choppy at times, so it's really hard to follow what it's going on. So as I say, it was an isekai. One moment the character was reading a book and was complaining about it, and then the next he died and then ended up in as a main villain of the book that he just read. So it's a little bit choppy on some parts, but this one, it flows quite nicely. And what it does, it's a little bit tricky because it will start off in the present day, one moment when Wei Wuxian did die. This happened 13 to 16 years later after Wei Wuxian's death. And so it starts with a character, Mo Xiangyu, who is sick and tired of the abuse that he's experiencing from his family. So he sacrificed himself for Wei Wuxian to take over his body and enact revenge on his behalf, as it says in the blurb. That's the starting point. That's the starting point. And we see Wei Wuxian understanding that something is going on within Mo's family, that deaths has been happening, and they notice that one of the body parts, as left arm specifically, is the one that is murdering the families that coincidentally enough is the family members that Mo Xiangyu wanted Wei Wuxian to do revenge on. So that's a bit of a coincidence, but that is the main mystery. This very strange and muscular arm that's been overtaking people's dead bodies, killing and taking over dead bodies, and they've noticed there's some anger, darkness, evil going on behind this muscled arm. So Wei Wuxian, as well as the other cultivators, is trying to figure out. But along the way, we also get an understanding of the characters by delving into the past. So through the characters, we met Lan Wangji, who in the past Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji has like a rocky relationship in the past because they're both completely different characters. So you wouldn't expect for them to be friends firsthand, but you kind of understand that there had been some progression between Wei Wuxian and Lan Wangji in past and in the present as well. So we get to see that kind of progression. We also see progression of another character called Jiang Cheng, who in the past is trying to be down to earth of what's going on, try to be down to earth, a kind of conflict against Wei Wuxian's character, who's a bit more spontaneous. But then we see that in the present time, he's much more angry, he's much more strict, he's a much more no-nonsense kind of person. He's always been like a no-nonsense kind of person, but he seems less grounded than he was in the past. So that's what I really like about Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. You get to see the progression of characters by seeing what goes on in the past or what's happening now in the present, and very much that is very important. Another thing that I've noticed within the book is that the they really put a focus on Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan's relationship. You can definitely see the progression in there. Yes, you can see the progression in the shows as well, but because of the Chinese laws, it's more toned down in the shows, but in the book you can really see the progression of relationships. As I said, it's a danmei, which means it's a BL novel. So yes, you would definitely, because Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan is the focal point of the story, their relationship is the one that progresses the most. As I say, if you're expecting the same as the show, there are some differences. So, for example, there are some characters that you probably have met early on in the show from another clan. I'm not going to get into the clan unless in case people have not seen the show and only base it off the book. But in this show, a clan was being introduced early on, and you will meet two siblings at that point, but you don't meet them yet in the book. They're only being mentioned. As a matter of fact, you do meet one in the present day, but we haven't met them in the past, as if that makes sense. So we're still waiting for like how this character became how he is, and obviously very loyal to Wei Wuxian. So this character is very much loyal to Wei Wuxian. In this specific clan that has been mentioned in the book, but we haven't met them yet. So yeah, there was, because Lan Shan and Wei Wuxian's relationship progress is the focal point, I feel like that we're not seeing much of the other characters as we're getting to know as much as you can in the show. So I would love to see a bit more of the characters and getting to know them. They have mentioned that Xiang Cheng has a sister. Again, you would see early on in the show, but not in the book. So she's another character that she has that's only just been mentioned. But yeah, I feel like that as a story itself, and the world is very open. It is much more open than in Scumville and Self-Saving System, because it involves like mysteries. There are many villages that they visited and explore and try to understand people and what problems that they're dealing with as well. So they're constantly moving about. You kind of understanding what sort of world they live in. It's a very traditional Chinese world they live in. So it's very much, it's either about markets or townsfolk, or of really delving into the histories of what is happening. But it's also very much fantasy, so lots of strange things has been happening, like people have been possessed by mystical, supernatural things that's happening. Obviously cultivators as well. You get the evil cultivators and good cultivators to try and have certain control over demonic figures that has been happening. So there's a lot of fantasy happenings around, while sticking within a traditional Chinese world that has been built around it. And it's very beautiful, absolutely very, very beautiful. But yeah, because it's the first book, I feel like this is much more of an introduction to just being to Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan, that it doesn't give time for the other characters to have their kind of progression. Like, they do have progression, absolutely, but because we have seen bits of the past, it only focuses on Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan's past, while other characters are sort of around. So they don't have that kind much of impact when you go into the present day when we do meet them. So like, for example, one of them, I forgot what he's called, Nay, I think his name is like a quiet boy who loves birds and always hanging around with Wei Wuxian and Jiang Cheng. But then he's suddenly the leader of his own clan. That doesn't hold that much impact due to the fact that I don't particularly know much about him, apart from him being a little brother to someone very important, as far as I know. But they did give some time to give a bit of information about other characters, such as Lan Shan's brother, other clan leaders as well, such as the leader from the Jin clan, and the previous leader of Nei's clan, as I just mentioned previously. So there is like some characters around. I just would like to get to know them a bit more, and hopefully we will in the next book. But this is an introduction to the world, and Wei Wuxian and Lan Shan are the main characters. I feel like that was the main focal point first before we continue on. But yeah, and they left in like a little bit of a cliffhanger as well. So somewhere at the end, they were still trying to figure out whose left arm is, and they will let's figure it out. Yes. And they left a bit of the cliffhanger where something happened to one of the young cultivators that caused his spirit dog, yes, there is a dog, for any dog lovers out there, I know there is, to go haywire because his master is missing. And there's something that is happening within the ghost city that could relate to the mystery of the left muscled arm. So yes, there is a little bit of a cliffhanger that does make me want to read more, and hopefully getting to know some characters a bit more as well. But yeah, then that's my opinions of the book, and I do hope it will get you to read them. I hope I didn't give out too much negative points. There is a lot more positive points than I find in Scum Villain's self-saving system. As I said, the story does flow around more, and even though that it did separate between the past segment and the present segment, it's starting and slowly connect a little bit more. So there might be like some kind of connection between what happened in the past and what happened in the present. That starts to happen things in the present, so you can see like hints of it starting to connect a little bit. As for the past segments, yes, I do wish there was a bit more, because they did mention the war, but it hasn't like started up yet. It only just shows Lan Shan's and Wei Wuxian's relationship. So hopefully we get to delve more into what has fully happened within people's past, so that we'll be able to understand more what's happening in the present. So hopefully that it will show more in the second book. But yes, that is my thoughts and opinions. Almost forgot, I should probably said this in the beginning. This is 17 plus, so there is some gruesome details, there is some swear words, and there is some sexual content as well. So do keep that in mind. It's not for anyone under the age of 17. So it is a danmei, which means it's a Chinese BL novel. So yes, do keep that in mind. But yes, this is Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. Yeah, I'm a little bit rusty, particularly for the fact I'm getting over the cold. So I hope this review video is okay and that you very much enjoy it. Yes, if I do highly recommend this. I do ratings, don't I? I told you it's been a while. I will give it 5 stars, I think. I do love it more than Scum Villain's self-saving system. But yeah, that is my book review. Anyway, do take care. I do hope you very much enjoy this review, and I will try to keep up with the reviews of the books, try to read more, and read like different books. I want to finish this series as well, and finish the other Chinese BL novels series as well. I got the Scum self-saving system to finish, as well as Heaven's Official Blessing. That is a very popular books as well, because there is a cartoon that is happening in Netflix, which I also wanted to watch. But yeah, do keep an eye on me. I will read more and post some more book reviews. And yeah, I hope that I do highly recommend it. You could find this in the other bookstores. And yeah, I shall see you guys later. Bye bye.